What's the standard that you set? So I often think about this in terms of my children. So if you're new here, for those who haven't been around, my kids are the reason that I do this. My reason for everything. They are the greatest impactor on my life and the thing that, has pushed me forward. And especially early on in my daughter's life, I was the absolute height of hypocrisy. I was a personal trainer, a transformation expert, fitness specialist, all those kinds of things. I would tell you exactly how to live your life, what to eat, how to exercise, and I was fucking fat and didn't listen to anything that I taught. I was the height of hypocrisy, and I was continuing down a bad fucking road. And this is how entrenched it was, that it took me multiple wake-up calls to truly make the change for it. And the first one was at my daughter's first birthday. And I'm looking at this perfect little child and the happiness that she brings me. And I'm like, I want to be around for as many of these as humanly possible. I do not want to miss any of this. I want to meet her kids and her kids' kids and all that kind of stuff. And I was probably 30 odd kilos overweight. So I changed my life. I changed what I was doing. I made a very clear and very definitive decision in that moment to be a better man. And I did. And then life happened. Isn't that the classic of it all? That life happened. My son was born 8 weeks early, and my wife lived in hospital for 6 months with him. And so I was basically being a single parent while running a business. And thankfully, he came through that, and he's all good now, and everything's fine. And then my trainer left, and, excuses piled up. And lo and behold, faster than I could have realized, I'm back where I was. Probably, right back where I was, 30 plus kilos, overweight, hating my fucking life. Hating where I've ended up, hating how I've gotten here, hating all of it, and back to being a walking hypocrisy. And it wasn't until another moment with my son, and I was like, fuck, is this who I'm going to be? And the moment was, he wanted me to throw him, and I was overweight, and I pulled my shoulder, and I couldn't. And it broke his little heart. Broke my baby boy's little heart. That was about a year ago. And so I had to change. And I had to change for them. And it wasn't just that I wanted to be here for as long as possible. But I think this is a responsibility of a father. And as I've gotten deeper into this journey, I do firmly believe it's not just your responsibility, it's your duty, your honor, and your obligation to be in great fucking shape. The best shape that you could possibly be. As healthy and as fit as you can figure out how to make happen. That is your duty, your honor, and your obligation. And I don't think any man, especially any father, has the right to neglect this area of his life. Because it's the one that feeds into everything else. But beyond that, you're also the standard that your children will judge their life by. Assuming that you're a good father, they'll judge it in a positive way, and they'll try and mirror you. It's the one I think about a lot, that you will be your daughter's first love and your son's first hero. So what kind of standard are you setting for them? Are you showing them what it's like to go out and pursue your dreams, to be fit, strong, healthy, to have discipline, to be a man of your word, to do these kinds of things? Are you giving them the life skills through mirroring that will serve them well? Or are you automatically setting them up for failure? Because you didn't want to sacrifice your comforts, your creature comforts for now. Because you wanted to choose easy over what needed to be done, what was required, well, for them. Because they're going to pick up traits and habits and all these kinds of things without you even realizing. And you will set the standard for their whole life in just how you live your life. So the question I ask, and I ask myself as well as I'm asking you, is if your kids ended up with your life where you were at right now, would you be stoked for them? Would you be over the moon? Would you be so fucking proud of them? Or would you be disappointed? Would you be ashamed? Would you feel like, well, they could have been so much more? Because that life is based on you right now. And look, you can't control everything. No, you can't dictate everything that's going to happen or transpire. But you can sure as shit set the highest possible standard, the best possible standard for them. And for them to just grow up thinking that's normal. And I think this is, as I said, your duty, your honor, and your obligation to do exactly this. Exactly this. To set them up to have the best possible life. Because I think being a parent, but especially a father, is the greatest fucking gift that you will ever get in your life. Like, there is nothing that is a greater gift than having children. But with that comes the burden of you need to now provide a great fucking life for them. You need to set the standard of a great fucking life. Because, yeah, you're going to be your daughter's first love and your son's first hero. But at some point, they're going to figure you the fuck out. And if you're out there being like, you can be anything, you can do anything, chase your dreams, at some point they're going to turn around and be like, yeah, but Dad, what the fuck did you do? What the fuck did you do with your life? You just sat on the couch and drank beer and ate shit and watched TV and doom scrolled and, you know, had a giant fucking circle jerk and wasted your life. Or you could have gone out there and been the greatest version of yourself. And the honest to God truth is, for me, at this moment in time, I am not even remotely happy with where I'm at. I know that I have so much more to give. I have so much more potential to give. And I have to keep going after that. I have to stop being a little bitch and hiding away from that. But I had to start this journey somewhere, and I had to start this journey with the physical and progress forward into it from there, into this life that I'm now currently leading as I rapidly approach a full year of making the hard decisions, of choosing the right things over and over and over again. And that's where it starts. But you set the standard. And what you just make the standard becomes their normal. And then they'll never know any different, because that's just the normal. But that's just how their life is. And I saw the first glimpse of this when we went on our first family holiday. And my children, especially my daughter, love books. They love to read. And this is something that, especially from my wife, they have picked up. My wife is an avid reader, and generally what I get her for her birthday is 52 new books. She gets a year-long advent calendar of books for her birthday. This is generally the birthday present that I give her. And my daughter has picked up this great love for reading, which I am stoked about. Anyway, so we went on this holiday. And she goes to us and she's like, why does this house not have any books? And I'm like, what? And she's like, where are the books? This house has no books. Why are there no books in this house? And we're kind of like, well, because it's a holiday house. Nobody actually lives here. But in her world, she couldn't fathom a house that doesn't have books. And that's the same to this day. We went over to someone else's house and they had one very small bookcase, whereas we have, massive, massive bookcases with books fucking everywhere. There's books in my office, there's books in, the toy room, there's books in their room, there's just books all over the fucking house. So that's the normal, that she just expects that, everybody reads. Everybody loves to read books, and there are books just everywhere. But the standard also comes to your health and fitness. My daughter doesn't understand that there are people who don't like exercise. She assumes that everybody works out every single day like Daddy does. She just thinks that's normal. And in fact, not only that it is normal, that it's an exciting thing, that it's fantastic. So the other day, my little princess got to come on the walk with me. I was like, she asked if she could come, and I was like, all right, well, we'll see how this goes. But the rule is that you have to be a big girl. You have to be a big girl, and you have to walk the entire way. Daddy is putting on his weight vest, and I will not carry you. This was a big test for her. But she was fucking amped. She was pumped up about it. So off we trot. And so we take our dog with us, which people thought was hilarious because, I let my daughter walk our Great Dane. She comes past my hip and she's like 55 kilos. And here's my beautiful little princess with her golden curls walking this giant ass dog. Happiest thing you could see. She's got her little strut on because she's out with her dad and then she's off on a walk and an adventure. And she did it. And at times, suddenly my walk is now a run because she's so excited and she's running with the dog. And so I'm running to keep up with her. And here we go. And look, she's got little legs, so she does tire out. And so we went a little bit less. Well, a kilometre a bit less than what I'd like to normally knock out. But I thought, this was a bigger learning curve. This was a more important moment than, hitting my normal 4.5 Ks in my 45 minutes. This was about setting the standard for my daughter. Both me and my wife had doubts at the beginning about this, about how she'd go, and whether I should wear my full weight or if I should go lighter because I'm going to end up carrying her back. And there was a moment on the way back, and we're probably a kilometre out. Yeah, about a kilometre. And she goes to me and she goes, Daddy, my legs are sore. I'm like, okay. So here we are, the standard moment. And so I squatted down and I looked her in the eye and I was like, well, sweetie, these are the moments where we get to choose. We get to choose what happens next. And I'm like, your legs are hurting. And I understand. You've been walking and running and we've gone a long way. But we still have a way to go. Now, you can either get upset and you can complain, Or we can dig deep and we can override that pain. And we can find a way to keep going. And we can count that up as a win. That today we didn't let that pain in our legs or the discomfort stop us from doing what we said we would do. And I was like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep walking? Do you think you can keep walking right now? Or do we need to stop and Daddy has to carry you, even though you said that you could walk the whole way? And there was a moment there. Mind you, she's 4, so these are big fucking concepts, and to be honest, I was not expecting what transpired. And she was like, all right, Daddy, I'll keep walking then. And I was like, and she's like, can I walk All Sorts, which is our dog? And I was like, absolutely, you can walk All Sorts, sweetie. And so she took the lead and off we went. And that was the last I heard about her sore legs. And in that moment, we started setting the standard. Now, we don't quit when it's hard. It's all right to recognize it. It's all right to feel it. It's all right that it's not fun. But we don't quit. We keep going. We do what is required and we keep our word. And these lessons are being instilled now through experience, but also because that's who Daddy is. And I don't think there is a greater thing I can do in my life than impart these skills onto my children. If this is all I ever do with my life, then I have lived a good fucking life. If I can impart these skills onto my babies, and I did it right. Look, I hope that there's more in it for me. I hope that the things that I see ahead of me are there. But if I can pass this gift on so they don't need to learn it in their 30s, then I won at life. And none of the rest matters. But it comes from me making these choices. Me making the hard choices, not choosing the comfort, not choosing what's easy, choosing what I said I would do, choosing to keep my word, to show up as the man I see up here, the man I think I am, and keep acting as if until I am that man. Because my daughter and my son don't need me to be anything other than just to show up and be Daddy. But down the line, they're going to need me to be more than that. Down the line, they're going to need to look back on the skills that they learned from their father and go, yeah, Dad did a great fucking job. And that's what I hope to be able to leave as my legacy in this life. And there are days where this is really fucking hard. Really, really fucking hard. There are many, many days where I don't want a bar of this, where I don't want to participate in this version, where I don't want to keep showing up and having to give this all. And there are days where I falter and I feel weak and I feel like giving up. But every time I do, I think of them. I think of that perfect little angel. And I think of my ever-growing boy. And I think about what kind of life I want to leave for them. What kind of lessons I want to impart onto them. And so I override. I override the bullshit story in my head about what will be easier. And I make the hard choice. Not for me, but for them. So that they can have the best possible life. So that they can have the best possible start to life and not have to, as I said, learn these lessons. So that's why. It's why I choose this and it's why I do it this way. That's why I keep fucking showing up. Because this isn't about me. It's about them. And leaving that legacy for them. So, if you're ready to step up, to be that man, to leave that legacy for your children, to lead by example, to set the standard so that they can have the standard set and lead their best life. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's begin with 6 weeks. Let's test the waters and see who you can be. Now, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this spoke to you, if you enjoyed it, if you know someone else who needs to hear this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, subscribe. Because, like everything in Chasing Greatness Daily, I set the fucking standard. And the standard is I am here every single day. And I don't want you to miss one. So hit that subscribe button because I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.